The lobby doors burst open as a woman dragged a rolling suitcase across the marble floor. Her heels clicked sharply, confident, steady, and loud enough to draw eyes from every corner. Behind the front desk, a young receptionist barely looked up. "Checking in?" he asked flatly. "Yes, under the name Grant," she replied, pulling out her ID. He smirked. "I think you've got the wrong place, ma'am. This hotel's fully booked." Her brow furrowed. "Fully booked? I made this reservation 3 weeks ago." He shrugged. "Look, we've had a lot of people claiming they have bookings lately. Maybe try the motel 2 blocks down." The woman's grip on her suitcase tightened. Guests turned to watch. One man whispered, "That's harsh." But the receptionist just leaned back in his chair, unconcerned. She took a deep breath, then pulled out her phone. "All right," she said calmly. "Let's fix this mistake." 9 minutes later, everyone behind that counter would regret every word they'd just said. Her name was Alyssa Grant, co-founder and CEO of the Grantway Group, a rising luxury hotel chain known for its impeccable service and bold new design. This particular hotel, the Grantway Midtown, had just opened a week ago. Alyssa had been working overseas and hadn't yet visited in person. She'd planned this trip quietly, wanting to see how her employees treated ordinary guests before revealing herself. The lobby was everything she'd envisioned. Polished marble, soft amber lighting, the gentle scent of vanilla cedarwood in the air. It should have been perfect. But the staff's tone, the dismissiveness, the arrogance, that wasn't her brand. The receptionist, Chad, was still scrolling on his phone while another employee whispered behind the counter. Alyssa could hear them laugh. "Think she's trying to score a free night?" one muttered. "People always do," Chad replied. "Looks like another one of those wannabe business travelers." Alyssa's chest tightened, but her face stayed neutral. Years of corporate experience had taught her one thing: never react right away. She simply said, "Can I speak to the manager, please?" Chad rolled his eyes. "He's busy. Doing what exactly?" "Important stuff," he said, smirking. Alyssa smiled faintly. "I'm sure he is." Alyssa stepped aside, dialing a number on her phone. "Hey, Carla," she said calmly. "Can you check something for me?" Carla, her executive assistant back at headquarters, answered instantly. "Of course, Ms. Grant, what do you need?" Alyssa's tone sharpened just slightly. "Pull up the Midtown property roster. Who's listed as front desk manager right now?" "Give me 1 second." "That would be Martin Green, ma'am." Alyssa glanced around the lobby. "Good. Tell him his boss is waiting in the lobby. And tell him he has 9 minutes before I call a staff meeting from the front desk." Carla paused. "Oh, I see what's happening." "On it." Alyssa hung up and took a seat near the window, watching the staff whisper nervously. Minutes ticked by. Then, the elevator dinged. A middle-aged man in a vest and tie hurried out, adjusting his name tag. Martin Green, front desk manager. He approached the counter, out of breath. "What's going on here?" Chad straightened. This lady was trying to check in without a reservation." Alyssa stood, calm but firm. "Really?" She handed her phone across the counter. "You might want to take a look at this." On the screen was her corporate access ID, her name, title, and digital authorization key for every Grantway property. The manager's eyes widened. His face drained of color. "Ms. Grant, I didn't know you were coming." Alyssa tilted her head slightly. "That's the problem, Martin. You didn't need to." The lobby went silent. Even the background music seemed to fade. Chad stammered, "Wait. You're the Alyssa Grant." She turned toward him slowly, her voice steady and cutting through the air. "Yes, the same Alyssa Grant whose company name is literally on the wall behind you." He swallowed hard. "Do you know what the Grantway standard is, Chad?" she asked, stepping closer. "It's not just marble floors or candles that cost more than your paycheck. It's how you make people feel when they walk in that door." Chad opened his mouth but said nothing. "Instead," Alyssa continued, "you made assumptions. You turned away a paying guest at her own property." Martin, the manager, tried to intervene. "Miss Grant, I assure you, this will be handled internally." "Oh, it will," she said, raising a hand. But not by you. She turned her phone sideways and tapped once. A video recording appeared. The security feed from the lobby, live-streamed to the company's internal network. Her assistant had been watching everything. A notification pinged on Martin's phone. All corporate staff copied on disciplinary notice. Alyssa's voice stayed calm. The thing about leadership, gentlemen, is that it reveals itself under pressure. I wanted to see how my employees would treat someone they didn't think mattered. Congratulations, you showed me exactly that. Gasps spread through the lobby. Guests who had been pretending not to listen were now openly filming. Chad's face turned red. Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I didn't. No, you didn't think, Alyssa said sharply. And that's why you're no longer part of this company. She turned to Martin. You either allowed this behavior or you didn't notice it. Either way, that's a failure of management. Effective immediately, I'm appointing Carla as Interim Operations Director. She'll arrive in 30 minutes to begin staff reassignment. Martin stood frozen. Alyssa turned to the watching guests, offering a composed smile. Ladies and gentlemen, I deeply apologize for what you witnessed today. Your stay tonight is on the house. Grantway holds itself to a higher standard, and I intend to prove that. Within minutes, corporate cars arrived outside. Carla entered briskly, tablet in hand. Staff were escorted to the office one by one, while Alyssa remained calm, poised, and professional. Chad and Martin were both dismissed by the end of the hour. A new receptionist was placed on shift, polite, attentive, and visibly nervous, but respectful. Alyssa checked herself into the hotel, finally sliding her keycard into the penthouse suite. The city lights shimmered below. She sank onto the sofa, exhaling deeply. The confrontation had been exhausting, not because of anger, but disappointment. Her phone buzzed. A text from Carla read, "Everything handled. Staff realignment complete. Guests impressed. You made quite the statement today." Alyssa smiled faintly and replied, "Good. Respect is built one action at a time." She poured herself a glass of water and gazed out at the skyline, the very skyline she'd dreamed of, conquering years ago when she started the company with nothing but $2,000 and a borrowed laptop. This was more than just business. It was about integrity, about reminding everyone that titles and uniforms mean nothing if you forget how to treat people. As she turned off the lights, the Grantway logo glowed softly across the building next door, her name shining bright over the city she built. If you believe real power is quiet confidence, not arrogance, hit that like button. Comment below with one word, respect. Because respect isn't given, it's earned, one moment of integrity at a time.